Good afternoon. I called to this zoning meeting to order Knox County Commission zoning for Monday, August 18th, 2025. And Madam Clerk, if you will call the roll.
Commissioner Rawls.
Present.
Commissioner Darrett.
Present.
Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Russell. Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Fox. Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
10 members present.
Perfect. All right. And I would like to recognize someone special that's with us today. His name is Destin Rawls, and he is Commissioner Rawls' nephew from Alabama. We're not going to hold that against you or anything. And it's also your birthday. So happy 21st birthday. Now, if I embarrassed you, you can blame your uncle later. I'll now turn it over to Commissioner Durrett for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand and render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have no additions, deferrals, or withdrawals. Do we have any discussion to the amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of minutes, previous meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Okay. That was a motion made by Commissioner Rawls, second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. And public forum, we will be doing those during the agenda items. So, Madam Clerk, if you will read the first item, please.
It's 7-Q-25-RZ, request of Jopa Properties LLC for rezoning from A agricultural to PR plan residential, up to 3 dwelling units per acre. Properties located at 0 Ball Road, parcel ID 078254 in the 6th Commission District.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Hi. If you'll turn the little person on the box and give your name and address for the record, please. There you go.
There we go.
There you are.
Sean Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't sworn everybody in. I apologize.
All right.
Missed right past there.
That's quite all right. If you're here to speak to this body on any item on the agenda, please stand and raise your right hand. If you're here to speak either for or against any item on the agenda, please stand and raise your right hand. Everybody? All right. You solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right. Be seated.
There we go. Now, makes it official. So we do have opposition to this item. So you get 5 minutes to address commission, and then the opposition will be able to speak, and then you will have some additional time to add to the end, okay? Sure. So Director Brooks, if you will give the report, please.
Certainly. Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the planned residential zone up to 3 dwellings per acre because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan and surrounding development subject to one condition.
Thank you. Now, would you like to speak to your project?
Yeah, so we came to the commission and they approved us for the 3 units an acre. We're really only using the bottom, the yellow section of this entire property for the development. The rest of it is in hillside protection. There's plenty of precedent all the way around it. The 3 units an acre was more than enough for what we needed to do. And we're planning on an attached product. And there's a really large need over there for attached homes. Right now, our layout is showing for all 1-level townhomes. We are looking at some options of possibly adding some 2-story townhomes there. And we're open for discussion.
Great, thank you. And we now have Miss Diana Holland that's speaking in opposition. Ms. Holland, if you'll give your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Diana Holland. I live at 3629 Aztec Lane, about 1,200 feet due east of this proposed development. I oppose the rezoning. The property has been in a green belt since the 70s, which is intended to avoid this type of urban development. The current agricultural zoning permits housing, just not the high-density housing the PR zone allows that developers prefer for greater profits. The Planning Commission's approval for recommendation shows bias through conflicts of interest. Over half of the 15-member board has financial ties to the real estate industry through their employment or their business ownership. The planner's report is inaccurate. The rezoning request fails to meet Article 6.30.01 criteria, as no significant recent changes justify this approval. Only 2 of the 17 adjacent parcels were rezoned and developed as PR subdivision in the early 1990s and early 2000s. No recent changes have been made in the last 20 years on this ridge. No other parcel within a 1-mile radius along the ridge on either side has been rezoned from A to PR for residential use. The PR zone is unsuitable for this parcel, as PR permits small lots, attached homes, and multifamily developments not present or compatible with the area. Aside from my subdivision, all the land on the ridge is zoned agricultural, with large lots and single-family homes. Widening Shawd Road to 4 lanes will increase Ball Road traffic, as the 40,000 drivers a day on Shawd Road will try to avoid the construction coming to make it into 4 lanes, where it's currently 2. Adding a new traffic light at Johnson and Shawd will also send more vehicles to Ball Road for the same reason. So the completion of the Shawd Road extension and improving Johnson Road do not provide enough justification for this rezoning. The proposed rezoning adversely affects other parts of the county, as hundreds of people drive Ball Road every day that don't live in the area. This development will add 1,202 daily vehicle trips per the planner's report to Ball Road, which currently handles over 8,000 cars a day and has no upgrades planned. 3 other projects 1.2 miles west will bring over 150 new homes and increase traffic by 5,000 vehicles, a 40% increase from today. TDOT lacks the funds to widen Oak Ridge Highway, meaning traffic will worsen for county residents using it or Ball Road. Oak Ridge Highway will handle nearly 27,000 cars, which is the same amount at the intersection of East Emory and Dry Gap, which is 2 4-lane highways coming together. Increased traffic will lead to more accidents and higher insurance rates across the county. The project would remove all trees, leaving a scarred ridge and forcing wildlife out. Small lots prevent replanting tall trees, causing lasting visual damage. This rezoning is inconsistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Land Use and Transportation Plan, which emphasizes conservation of natural areas, including ridges, valleys, and scenic views. The planned removal of over 30 acres of mature trees contradicts conservation objectives. The development creates a dead-end road, which the future plan prohibits. The proposed rezoning does not align with Advanced Knox future land use for this area, which is primarily the rural conservation and hilltop protection, allowing 50 to 70% less land disturbance than the requested PR zone. Legal notice procedures were not followed for this proposal. The public notice sign was absent for at least 7 days before the hearing. I notified the planner, asked if it was still going on, and she said yes, that the hearing would take place anyway, even though public notice was not done properly. The developer failed to engage with neighboring property owners or comply with public notice requirements. Over the next 10 to 15 years, Knox County will see over 165,000 homes come on the market as housing supply rises from older residents dying. According to the East Tennessee Realtors 2025 housing report, Knox County's housing market has stabilized with over a 7-month inventory since the 4th quarter of 2024. Migration peaked in 2022 and continues to drop, with over 33% of our residents in Knox County 65 or older, and Tennessee's life expectancy only being 72 to 75 years. Around 165,000 homes are projected to become available in Knox County over the next 10 to 15 years as seniors transition into assisted living or pass away. Deaths now outnumber births here by 3, so future housing supply should be ample without additional new developments. Demand favors single-family homes on larger lots, which sell in 1 day, while 2-story homes now linger on the market, some for months. Recent tax law changes in the state and local tax deduction, also known as SALT, is going to greatly reduce the number of people moving here. increasing that deduction to $40,000 from the $10,000 limit imposed in 2018, which is when people first started to come here. This will further reduce housing demand for new residents moving for financial reasons. Additional factors such as less remote work, AI-driven job market shifts affecting recent college graduates, and fewer student loans are also likely to decrease the demand for both housing and rentals. I urge the Commission to deny the rezoning request as it does not comply with Article 6.30.01, and we have plenty of homes approved, yet to be built, and plenty that will be coming on the markets as residents pass away.
Thank you,
With a
Ms.
stable
Holland.
real estate market.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
Mel.
I'm sorry, I've got to stick to the 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming and speak to us.
Thanks for letting me speak.
Appreciate it. Would you like to respond, sir? And then we'll open up the floor to commissioners for any questions.
As I said earlier, there's a pretty good amount of the land we will not be disturbing, pretty much 2/3 of the land. So I know when she spoke about the animals and everything that's out there, I mean, we're trying to preserve that part of it. So really, ultimately, we're just using the bottom section of all of the 30 acres. So.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions? No? Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question for the applicant. How are you?
Great.
So since you are not planning on using the hillside protected portion, what would be the total number of dwellings you're looking to put on the actual land you're going to be building?
So our design is anywhere from 40 to 55 units total.
Okay, and those are,
I know that the zoning right now, the 3 units per acre is for 90 units, but I mean, we obviously aren't going to put 90 units there. We would like to save the ability to do possibly 2 estate tracts on the remaining 20 acres that's up on the top. So maybe 8 to 10 acre lots, 2 of them, but it's in early design. for the
okay,
possibility.
so you're thinking maybe half of what's possible?
Yeah, well, yeah, even if it was, and I talked to Terry last week, and I mean, even if it went down to 2 units an acre, that would be enough to do what we would need. And I know she expressed that 3 puts it at a possibility of 90 units, that to go to her people and say, hey, they're going to put possibility of 90 units. I mean, we know we can't fit 90 units there anyway, but even 2 units an acre would suffice what we want to do with the property.
Okay, thank you.
So we'd be okay with that.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you. Did you get your son moved? I did. Good. I caught him at a very inopportune time when we were talking, and he did essentially repeat the conversation that we had. I was very concerned because only about really 11 acres of this maybe is buildable or practically buildable without disturbing ridge top. We did discuss, actually I was pulling for less than even the 2 per acre, because your originally plan, I believe you said you thought would be around 45, and you wanted a couple of more. I can live with the 2 per acre at that. I do hope you'll stick to your original plan. But since we can't assure that, and the property can always be sold, I do appreciate your compromise in this. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
Commissioner Hill, we still have some other questions. Would you
Oh,
care
I'm
if we
so
take
sorry.
those?
I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine.
No, I was waiting.
You're fine.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Thompson?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm actually working on my question because I expected Commissioner Hill to talk a little bit longer. I'll defer to Commissioner Frazier for now.
Or Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is really just more of an observation statement from me in reviewing this and looking at it. The requested zoning is partially related to the place types. And for me, when I go back and look at the additional criteria that is required for partially related zonings related to these place types, I'm having a hard time finding the justification. I know it passed Planning Commission and I know it passed staff, but I'm just having a hard time looking for the zoning is consistent with secondary uses. The proposed zoning district is compatible with the current zoning of adjacent sites. And then proposed zoning district is directly related to a place type that is adjacent. I can't find one of those that I can justify, so I'm having a hard time supporting this one, so I just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to echo a couple of the, I guess, the hesitations that Commissioner Frazier had as well. I was just doing some counting because if you said you'd take the 10 acres and put 40 houses on it, I was just counting how far I had to go out before I actually counted up to 40 houses on the periphery of this location. I'm going all the way out to it's Zion Lane, which is past, I need my glasses, Dayston Gap Road. The density, of course, two units an acre still is 60 units, but if you're doing 40, I'm still having a hard time justifying it. And then you have, talking about estate lots on the ridge, that's a big ridge along all of the properties, along Ball Road. I'm just trying to think of, as far as future development, we call them estate lots, so bigger lots, but still, how do you access them? There's still a lot of grade work and runoff, and you still have to have all of the infrastructure to service those. So they're not on drain fields and wells. They're actually on established infrastructure. So I don't know. I have a little hesitation on this one.
Okay. It's back to you, Commissioner Hill.
I was just going to say, I mean, that the estate lots is really just knowing that we've got 20 acres up there for the possibility if we wanted to do that. And there is a need, just like the woman said, for larger lots. There is a need out there for if somebody wanted it. It's not even in the plan. If in our design, it would be a stub out and it would connect to the sewer and the water, but it's not in a design that we've drawn right now. It's just knowing that land is there. There's a possibility. As far as the design and the acreage of being what we're using, there is precedent all the way around. 7 units an acre, I think, on the backside. On the other, backside of it, there's 3 to 5 units an acre all the way around us. There's some attached product around us. We just felt like there's a serious need for a townhome over there and a lower price townhome, to be honest with you.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
Yes, I was just, before you made your motion.
No, there is no motion on the floor.
Oh, before you made your motion. Okay. Just doing some quick math, at 1.5, that would give him 45 units, a little over 45 units, which should be more than ample. Because at 2 units an acre, I have to say that I don't know that I could support it either.
Thank you. All right. Back to you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. I appreciate this support. As you know, we cannot talk to each other before this, so I really did not know where they were coming from. In our initial conversation, you did state you thought around 45 townhomes, and you were hoping perhaps for a couple of estate lots. And granted, Commissioner Thompson, as you can see, there's very little built out there, but if someone wanted to try to put a house on 10 acres up there, I wouldn't get too bent out of shape. So I don't even have a problem with that. But if we go to 1.7 per acre, that gives you
About 52.
51.
Yeah.
51 lots. So with our
I'd be fine with that.
conversation, all right. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this at 1.7 per acre.
I'd be fine with that.
I'm sorry, who was second? Commissioner Jane? Okay. So we have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Hill and a second by Commissioner Jay. Do you want to include the condition that's on there? Your 1.7 plus the...
Well, I'm fine to include that condition. It's pretty clear they're not going to get up in there anyway, but yes,
Okay.
with the
Just wanted to
condition
ask,
attached,
making
yeah.
sure. Motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I have one,
Yes.
one thing? Commissioner Hill, would you, looking at the ridgetop and slope and the concerns that the residents had, would you consider sectioning off the part that's not in the hillside protection, increasing the density within the regular area, and then putting the hillside protection in the condition that that cannot be built on? But having the 5 units per acre on the
No.
front 10 acres?
Absolutely not.
Because essentially that's what would be built anyway if you had 50 lots on the front. But then the backside, the remaining 20 acres would not be buildable, and that would be in the ridge hillside protection. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and I very much appreciate what you're trying to do. I do know that, that you're with Turner Homes, and I do know that Turner Homes does tend to be pretty reliable. Honestly, too, Adam, if you went out and looked at that property, I'm telling you, it would cost a whole lot of money to dig much into that
Sure.
top. I can see how that wouldn't be in your plan to start with. I mean, it really, to keep the price point right, so.
I was just thinking of a way of conditioning it to where they can do what they want on the front, and then it just protects the backside.
Well,
That was all I'm thinking. Whatever.
okay, thank you. No, I think I'll just go ahead and stick with my original motion.
Okay. We've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We've got one no. Commissioner Fox? Okay, that passes. Best of luck with your project.
Oh, yeah, I did, absolutely.
Next item, please.
Item number 2 is 7-H-25-RZ, request of Jason Strange for rezoning from A agricultural to RA low-density residential, properties located at 7936, 7944, 7952 Hill Road, parcel ID 028, 142, 143, 146, in the 7th Commission District.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Okay, take your time. You'll get there. If you'll give your name and address for the record, please.
Jason Strange and 7432 Hill Drive.
Thank you. Now, I didn't have anybody signed up in opposition for this item. There's no one in the audience. Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low-density residential zone because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan and surrounding development.
Thank you. Mr. Strange, would you like to speak to your project?
Yes, ma'am. Just looking to, like I said, we didn't want to do the density too much. We wanted to keep, the character of the street and everything, but we just see a need. I'm a realtor also and a general contractor, and there's just a need for low-income housing, and so we're just looking to put out, some affordable housing in that area because it's close to halls and school, and it's just a great location.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question. Would you be agreeable to mitigating the impact to the existing residential development that is surrounding with a landscape buffer?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You would? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Seeing no one else, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will make a motion to approve the low-density residential because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan,
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
with the condition.
Okay.
Second.
All right. And the condition is, which landscape buffer are we going with? Type B? Okay. Yes, sir?
Could I ask a clarifying question
sorry.
regarding the condition?
Yes, ma'am.
Where would you all want that buffer
Commissioner Frazier?
specifically?
There are some larger lots with single-family homes. Is access point going to be from Hill? Your access would be from Hill Road, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it would be on the northeast, and I guess that would be south sides?
Yes, ma'am.
You're familiar with where I'm talking about. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 existing large lot residential single-family homes. That's
Correct.
where I would like to see the landscape buffer along those property lines.
Yeah, most of the development is on the front side of Hill Road where the current house and building are. I think we're going to leave that alone in general, so we should not impact on the south side. Most of it's going to be on the north side around the cross street.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
North side would be fine with me then.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Director? Okay. Is that good with you, Commissioner Lee? All right, good. We got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Best of luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You too. Next item, please.
Item number 3, 7-I-25-RZ is a request of Southern Standard Enterprises LLC for rezoning from A agricultural to RA low-density residential. The property is located at 6933 Beeler Road, parcel ID 020MD005 in the 7th Commission District.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Hi. If you'll give your name and address for the record, please.
Tyler West, 675 Wayne Courtney Drive.
Okay. I do not have anybody signed up in opposition. I don't see anyone in the audience. Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low-density zone because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan and surrounding development.
Thank you. Mr. West, would you like to speak to your project?
Yes, we've put in 9 houses this year, double wides mainly, and we're trying to stay on the low budget side income homes where all of our houses, we don't have nothing. We don't have nothing listed over about 200 and 209 is what we try to list everything at. We're just trying to get some low income housing.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Frazier?
It's me again. Hello. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So again, you have existing residential single-family homes on both sides. Would you be willing to mitigate the impact to those with a type B landscape buffer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, Commissioner Lee?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the low-density residential zone because it's consistent with Knox County Comprehensive Plan with the condition of the buffer.
Okay. Type B.
Type B.
All right. Perfect. Do I have a second on that?
Second. Oh.
We're on one tonight, aren't we? All right. So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Commissioner Hill?
Sorry, one question. It looks like there's a home to one side,
Yes.
and is the dwelling on the other side of the property, is that a mobile home? Or is
Yes,
that-
yes,
it is?
there's a mobile home on one side, and the other side is actually a garage that they've turned into an apartment up above.
Okay. Okay. I was just looking at everything around it's 1 per acre and going to 4, but if the commissioner's comfortable with that, then okay. Okay.
That fits into the
Thank you,
landscape.
thank you.
All right, let's try this again. We've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lee and a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Best of luck with your project, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 4, 6-C-25-RZ, request of Niles Hay for rezoning from A agriculture to RA low-density residential. Property is located at 4925 East Emory Road, parcel ID 029030 in the 7th Commission District.
Thank you. Sir, if you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nils Hay. I live at the subject property, 4925 East Emory Road.
Okay. I don't have anyone signed up. No one's in the audience for opposition, so Director Brooks.
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low-density residential zone because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan and surrounding development.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your project, sir?
Yes, absolutely. So my wife and I moved down here a little while ago, and it's been a dream of ours to move our family with us. And so with their parents and other immediate and not immediate families' health concerns, we'd like to be able to rezone and then subdivide this to build a few duplexes to bring them down to be able to live very close to us. They live out of state right now in Indianapolis, Kentucky, and Chicago, so it would just make life a lot easier for us overall.
Okay, perfect. And welcome to Knox County.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So your plan is to put a couple of duplexes there?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I guess I'm kind of concerned because isn't that the same where there's some houses with big lots?
It's a mixed area of housing. There's some larger lots as well as there's a couple smaller subdivisions as well as some duplexes and triplexes just down the road. So it's a mixed area along that portion of Emory Road.
Well, I haven't had any opposition, so if there's no opposition, I guess I will make a motion to approve the low-density residential zone because it's consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lee, a second by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Best of luck with your project, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everybody.
you. Have a good evening. Next item, please.
Item number 5 is 7-L-25-RZ. It's a request of No Sanchez for rezoning from A agricultural to RA low-density residential. Properties located at 323 Breakville Road. Parcel ID is 072210 in the 8th Commission District.
Thank you. Sir, if you'll give your name and address for the record.
Noah Sanchez and 323 Breakville Road.
Okay. We don't have any opposition signed up. Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low-density residential zone because it's consistent with the Knox County Comprehensive Plan and surrounding development.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, would you like to speak to your project?
Yeah, we're just trying to add some affordable housing and trying to subdivide it into probably 3 lots and just build some duplexes.
Okay, so 3 lots to duplexes. Okay. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Snowden, I noticed that, is it Sinking Creek that goes through here? Do we have any environmental concerns or I'm assuming there's probably not a floodway through there, but we do have a creek.
We do. There's not a map floodway through there. Sinking Creek is what we call, it's a non-classified stream, i.e. TDEC hasn't identified it as one that's impaired. So our stream buffer, once this gentleman were to create these lots, would be 30 feet from the top of the bank. So there will be a stream buffer applied to the stream once he creates the lots.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm fairly certain that most my fellow commissioners have not been, I guess, tagged in Facebook posts about Breakville Road, but there have been plenty of accidents, and it's a very narrow road. Also one that when the interstate gets backed up, this is used as an alternate route for tractor trailers, unfortunately. So I do have a few reservations about Breakville Road. Of course, there are plenty of other subdivisions on Breakville Road that, they're there. I guess I don't necessarily have a strong opposition to doing this. I just want to make sure that we don't exacerbate a problem. I'd like to make a motion to approve this with one condition, because it doesn't look like there was a condition at Planning Commission, but with one condition that there is a 20-foot type B buffer along Breakville Road. And my reasoning for that is, in the future, it looks like there are plenty of subdivisions along Breakville Road, and I'm just trying to think, there may eventually be sidewalks, because you're tying into the city area and Food City, and there's a commercial zone north of this to Asheville Highway. And so just trying to preemptively put in a buffer. So if anything were to come in, and to also not put the houses and driveways right there on Breakville Road because of the traffic issues. If anybody has any thoughts or...
Commissioner Frazier?
Just a quick question. Are you referring to a non-disturbance area
Um,
to keep it?
Sure, we can have a non-disturbance area. That'd be fine. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Snowden, Director Brooks,
At the right of way?
can you speak to a non-disturbance on the front of the property to Breakville in regards to right-of-way?
There's not a plat of record for the property, Commissioner, so it's kind of hard. It's ambiguous to say where the right-of-way may be. Obviously, state laws changed to where we can't require dedication anymore. Amy and I were looking, the front setback, did you say 35? The front setback would be 35 from the property line, so that buffer would be able to sit within that setback that this gentleman wouldn't be able to do anything anyway with.
And I will second his motion.
Okay, sorry guys, it's jumping around. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Thompson, I guess I'm confused. You have 35 feet that you can't do anything with anyway as a right-of-way buffer. You're asking for a vegetation buffer all the way across Breakville?
Well, that was going to be my next question. If we just did a non-disturbance, there's no point in doing a vegetative buffer. If we do a non-disturbance, if they can't do anything with it anyway in the
Well, it's a
right
35-foot setback.
So, right. So
but they still have to connect a driveway to Breakville. So if you do you
right.
can't.
Well, then obviously they'd have access. There'd be an access point there.
I've just never seen a condition of adding a vegetative buffer between the road and the property. And
well, the issue on Breakville is that it is narrow and it is a relief point during congested areas. If there's an accident on the interstate, it is an alternate route. And if we get to the point somewhere down the road, maybe 20, 30 years, but if Breakville has ever widened, it would be nice to have that availability. So that's all I was trying to do, is preemptively just put that in there. But if it's 35 feet that they can't do anything with anyway, then this subject's kind of moot.
Okay, yeah, so it's there, so he doesn't need a vegetative buffer to put into an area that.
Right, if that's accurate, that there's 35 feet from the property line that they can't do anything with anyway, correct?
Correct. They have a 35-foot setback.
Gotcha, okay. All right, then that takes care of the condition I was going to put on there anyway, so, okay.
Commissioner Hill?
Just to clarify, Commissioner Adams, or Thompson, what did you say about the right-of-way or access? Did you say you didn't want any to be on Breakville?
No, all I was saying was I was going to put in a buffer or non-disturbance along Breakville,
but
just to leave that buffer, but the 35-foot buffer is already there. So
but you're fine for them to access.
Oh, sure.
Breakville.
Yeah, I mean it's their property. They have to have access to the road.
I couldn't tell from.
And I'd hate for them to get there and can't leave.
Other road.
So
well, I couldn't tell. It looks like a private drive, maybe directly north of it. So I just wasn't sure. Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I ask Director Snowden? Okay. Director Snowden, if, as far as driveway access to Breakville, when he's mentioning duplexes, is there a concern that we have a single access point, or can there be multiples? What, from a safety perspective on Breakville?
Yeah, and this would require, to come back for planning commission review. One thing I would say, this is a collector, so we would require turnaround driveways to where we don't have people backing out into the roadway. However, if you guys wanted to condition a single access point to eliminate conflicts, certainly you could do that. But if you didn't, we would at least require that they have a turnaround in their driveway so that everyone was always pulling out head first, so to speak.
Sure. Okay.
So Commissioner Thompson, I think you might need to amend your motion.
I believe so too.
Yep.
Mr. Sanchez, when you're talking about the duplexes, and I'm just thinking from a safety perspective on Breakville, would it work in your design plan to have a single entry point to where the duplexes connect with each other and then they all access Breakville at one location?
Yeah, definitely.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Madam Chair, I would like to amend my motion or scrap the first one and make a whole new one.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the RA, low-density residential, with the one condition that it has a single vehicular access point to Breakville.
Okay. All right. So we've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to vote for the motion. I just want to say something before that. I really, really, really want Commission to remember that we do two different things. We are doing zoning, and there's an entire process that we entrust to Jim Snowden and the use on review and the engineering guidelines, and they have no idea what might come up during the process. And the more conditions we put on things on the front end, the harder it is for Jim to do his job, and the more expensive the house is going to be if they run into something unforeseen. So I'm going to vote for it because I think it's good. Please, we have a process for a reason, and so we're adding more and more conditions every single time to something before they even get to the point of laying out a design. And we have a process for that. And I just caution us, we worked so hard on this comprehensive plan. Let's use it and not over-regulate it, or we're going to cause our own problem to be worse. So,
thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just with Director Snowden, with the dimensional standards here, we got 1.66 acres, but he's asking for duplexes. That's 15,000 per dwelling unit. So really, I just want to make sure I understand how many dwelling units that the applicant is asking for. That's given the setbacks and the creek area. We're talking, what, 1.5 acres? So we're looking at four or five duplexes. So 8 to 10 homes, basically. Is that right? Am I doing that math right?
Yeah, it's 12,000 minimum square feet.
12,000, okay.
For a duplex. So roughly 8, but there are some site constraints here, so that will reduce the number.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also, in addition to the stream, there show up some hatchered contours which are indicative of a sinkhole there. So the gentleman can do some geotechnical analysis to see. But yeah, he's got quite a few constraints that are probably going to push that number down rather than up in this case.
Okay, all right. I want to make sure that we're not voting on single-family dwellings, we're voting on duplexes and make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. We've got anybody else? Okay. Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Best of luck with your project, sir.
Thank you all.
Next item, please.
Number 6 is 5-P-25-RZ. It's a request of Brad Pruitt for rezoning from A agricultural to PC plan commercial. Property is located at 0 Asheville Highway, parcel ID 072002, part of, in the 8th Commission District.
Thank you. Hello, sir. Name and County residents?
Ben Mullins, 550 West Main Street here in Knox County.
Thank you. We don't have anyone signed up in opposition, so Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the PC Plan Commercial Zone because it's compatible with the neighboring parcel and is an extension of the PC zone and is in the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Mr. Mullins, would you like to speak to the project?
Yeah, briefly, Mr. Pruitt and I have been working with Commissioner Thompson on this one for a little bit. It's been postponed 2 times. We're asking for one more postponement. There's a couple of details that are still kind of up in the air. I was talking to Commissioner Thompson beforehand. I understand he doesn't have any objection to that. So I think 30 more days, we ought to be able to figure out exactly what we need to do, so we're not talking about conditions here at the podium.
All right. Well, we will throw it over to Commissioner Thompson.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone, please.
We've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson, a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Mullins.
Thank you all very much.
Next item, please.
Item number 7 is 5-I-25-RZ. It's an appeal of Benjamin C. Mullins of the Knoxville, Knox County Planning Commission's denial of a request for rezoning from A, agricultural, to C, in neighborhood commercial. Properties located at 5240 Shad Road, parcel ID 091-18617 in the 6th Commission District.
Thank you. Mr. Mullins?
Ben Mullins, 550 West Main Street.
All right. We do have opposition. We have got 3 in opposition. So we will go to Director Brooks.
Planning Commission's recommendation is to deny the C-in neighborhood commercial zone because the subject property does not meet the zone's intent or location criteria.
Thank you. Mr. Mullins?
Yeah, briefly, I sent a letter out to everybody earlier today, kind of framing the issues and setting forth kind of overall my argument. I believe Mr. Ford would like to address the commission more specifically on this.
Okay. Mr. Ford, if you'll give your name and address for the record, please.
Yep,
you
absolutely.
have 5 minutes.
Yes, it's Justin Ford, 3326 Cove Point Drive in Blount County. So commissioners, especially myself, right, I appreciate you guys letting me here today and kind of talk about, the property, and hope you will give it like full consideration. So I do want to highlight something really quickly. On the agenda, there's a little bit of a discrepancy, right? It shows the initial vote is 11-4, right? And that is because originally there was a first motion that was to deny. After it wasn't seconded, after discussion and second motion got placed to approve. That ultimately failed 9-6. So in the fulfillment of procedure, they voted again. 2 people changed their vote, but really I just wanted to highlight that the original vote was 9-6. So it really goes to show that this was kind of highly contested and closely divided. So Ben has given you guys a lot of information about the technical rules and regulations, and I want to be very clear that what we're asking for does not go against code. All right, so stepping back, this isn't really just about one parcel. I think all the discussion has been, it's about how best to approach the Shad Road development, right? The mayor himself has pushed for development along this corridor and has been supported. This commission, as a legislative body, has the opportunity today to solidify and set clear direction so that planning, right, can move forward appropriately. Now, about this specific property, right? This property has already been used in the past commercially. When I bought the property, I'm the first person to buy it from the original family farm, and they're all here today in opposition. So I'm the first one to buy from the family. But the property had been used commercially as a mechanic shop when I bought it. It was in disrepair. They were building and refurbishing commercial engines, transmissions. KUB has 3-phase power already at the facility. It was trash everywhere. So I've cleaned it up, and I'm doing my best to right now use it in that same sense. Directly to the east of me, the family also owns a commercial greenhouse that has also fallen into disrepair, right? So they're going to then basically claim that commercial use would disrupt the neighborhood, right? But these same people and the same neighbors have ran commercial operations here for years. So what I'm really asking you is not to necessarily approve a new use for this location, just to allow me to do it legally, right? An establishment and legally in something that is done and looks good. So that's that part. Now, right, I want to be very clear, right? Neighborhood commercial, I'm not asking for a sprawling development center, right? It's a small 1/4 acre parcel on a large, arterial road. So as you drive down, you can already see what's happening on Shad. Multiple developments, right? Multiple small businesses, a large church just 2 lots over. Even though it's technically under agricultural, it is a substantial, large, well-built commercial structure. Amherst Elementary School is just across the street. This corridor is not just agricultural, it's a mix of uses. This property is in the SMR, which explicitly allows neighborhood commercial. And this small property is perfectly suited for neighborhood scale businesses that make life easier for families. Coffee shop, hair salon, gym, yoga studio, maybe even a daycare. Right? These are places that parents or churchgoers can stop easily. It's not a destination development, it's about meeting the daily needs of nearby residents. Right? This county has already invested $75 million in the Shaw Road expansion. This project, it was done to open opportunity, relieve congestion, and serve as a connector for the county. Leaving this property as it is, stranded and undevelopable, wastes that investment. Neighborhood commercial was specifically designed to do this. It will create higher property taxes, generate sales tax revenue, and provide for small businesses. Now, some people had raised the concern of spot zoning, yet the very intent of CN zoning is to allow neighborhood scale commercial tucked within residential, specifically by code, requiring flank trees, shrubs, and a beautiful front-facing facade. Right? This is not spot zoning. It is zoning that fits both the ordinance and the community. Now, on the flip side, denying this approval and forcing it into a single-family residence doesn't make sense. The lot is too small to be developed and put multiple homes on. Right? It's too impractical for those uses. All the nearby developments on Shad Road have fences in the backs of homes facing Shad Road. So if you can imagine right now, you're driving down Shad Road, right, you're going to see businesses, 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 and fences, fences, fences. In fact, a small front-facing home looks out of place. You're driving down going, when is this house going to get replaced? Right? So now, by denying this, you'd be asking me to do that. So really, in conclusion, what I'm asking for is modest, fair, and consistent with both the community needs and the county investment. The land has already been used commercially. The surrounding corridor is already a mix of commercial, industrial, and institutional uses. The infrastructure is there, right? And the need for small-scale, everyday services in that community along that stretch is also real. So I ask you to be fair, practical, and forward-looking, right? I would ask you to approve this rezoning, clarify with planning, and then let this property serve the community in the way that I think it is best suited to do. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Our first speaker is Ms. Jane Smith. Ms. Smith, if you will give your name and county of residence for the record, and pull that really close to you.
Okay, it's Jane Smith, and I had asked Terry Hill to give you a copy of my speech because I get nervous, okay?
Don't get nervous.
Okay, at 5209 Shad Road, which is directly beside and across from proposed rezoning. My family has lived in this community for over 70 years. My husband and I now own 7223 Ball Camp, purchased by my parents when I was a child, which sits directly behind the site. The home built around 1900 was the beginning of the long-established neighborhood surrounding 5240 Shad Road. I strongly oppose rezoning this property to anything other than residential or agriculture. This is a family-centered neighborhood, and commercial use does not fit character. Planning staff experts in these matters have determined this proposal is incompatible and their recommendation should be followed. In Mullins v. Knoxville, a case Mr. Mullins has cited, the court stated that neighborhood character is defined by what is legally permitted, not by non-conforming uses. That means character is determined by the zoning map and the ordinance. This area is zoned residential and agriculture, not the greenhouse is not commercial, it is agriculture, consistent with surrounding properties, making CN zoning inappropriate. CN is typically applied at intersections, and while most coffee-serving businesses along Shad follow this rule, this site does not. The proposal to place a road on my property to create a corner lot disrupts an established residential driveway and would require new infrastructure at county expense. The owner's attempts to purchase adjoining land to meet setbacks highlight how unsuitable this site is for commercial use. The driveway is not for sale, and altering property lines for a road shows the proposal does not fit the neighborhood. The ordinance requires CN to provide convenience without disturbing residential areas, which this proposal fails to do. This property has already signed an agreement with the Easy Stop at Johnson and Shod to install a traffic light and make roadway improvements. Additional demands here are neither reasonable nor responsible. There is already an Easy Stop 0.3 miles away at Shod and Johnson that was rezoned from A to CN. Our community does not need another CN so close. This proposal conflicts with the comprehensive plan and the ordinance's intent for CN near existing CN and TCMU districts. The Easy Stop was properly designated at a corner as intended for CN zoning. Similarly, the Amherst Villas property, even closer to 5240 Shod, was deemed unsuitable for commercial zoning and designated residential. This site should be held to the same standard. Reports of environmental and health concerns have been submitted to TDEC and forwarded to Knox County. Documents obtained through a public record request were sent to the county commission notifying them of these concerns, yet they have not meaningfully addressed. Converting this site to commercial use could enhance these risks, raising serious concerns under Section 1.30 of zoning ordinance. This property is not suited for commercial development. I respectfully ask you to deny the appeal for rezoning and support the planning staff and commission's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next speaker is Ms. Heather Story. Ms. Story, if you'll give your name and address for the record, please, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Heather Story. I live at 5310 Shod Road. I currently reside there beside the property that's in question, and I'm here to respectfully ask you to deny the proposal to rezone this land to commercial use, as a planning commission has already denied the rezoning due to meeting the guidelines and the demands of this property. The small parcel sits directly in the middle of a residential neighborhood. While I understand that the expansion of Shod Road anticipates growth, that growth should occur in designated commercial areas outlined in the original development plan, not in random locations before those planned sites are fully developed. An Easy Stop is already being built just 0.3 miles away, and rezoning this parcel would be conflict in the area that has already been designated for commercial use. Directly behind this parcel is the greenhouse property, still zoned agricultural, and although no longer used in the decline of farming demand, its future remains residential. I will be inheriting this property, and it will never be zoned commercial. The land always is intended to support community farming and preserve green space for our neighborhood. Beyond the emotional toll, there are serious safety and logistical concerns. This property sits directly off of a 4-lane highway with no turn or lane providing direct access to this property. Any development here would require a turnaround or entry point directly in front of my home. Knox County's own zoning ordinance states that the commercial uses should be convenient to and yet not disruptive to established residential neighborhoods. This proposal clearly contradicts that intent. The result would be an increased traffic congestion, reduced visibility, and a dangerous bottleneck, especially during school pickup hours, and drivers already speed through this area. The turnaround has a slight blind spot, making accidents more likely. In West Knox County, a 39% increase in traffic accidents, including fatalities, was recorded after similar zoning changes along comparable 4-lane roads. Adding commercial activity here will only worsen those risks. Mr. Ford has stated that his intent is to potentially open a coffee shop or another small business. However, my concern is that this rezoning pave the way for a small strip mall with businesses that may struggle to succeed due to the property's inconvenience access. In Mr. Mullins' comments about the subdivision being directly adjacent to this property, he suggests that it would be convenient for neighbors to access the business. However, one of the subdivisions he referred to as being has been blocked from accessing Shad Road since 2008, meaning residents would have to travel down Ballcamp Pike to reach the site. In addition, the subdivision is actually a quarter of a mile away, not directly adjacent to as stated. Please stand with the Karnes community, Commissioner Hill, Zoning Planning Committee, and neighbors around this property in denying this appeal on this rezoning proposal. Thank you for your time and for your dedication to our community.
Thank you, Ms. Story. And our last speaker is Ms. Wilma Monroe. Ms. Monroe, if you'll state your name and address for the record, please. You'll have 5 minutes to address commission.
My name is Wilma Monroe, and my address is 7243 Ballcamp Pike. Good evening, Commissioners. I am here as a concerned resident to respectfully urge you to deny the request to rezone 5240 Shad Road to neighborhood commercial. Knox County's own rezoning guidelines clearly recommend that commercial businesses be located mostly on corner properties to allow for safer traffic flow and better accessibility. This property is neither on a corner and has no direct access from Shad Road. Approving this rezoning would create unnecessary and avoidable traffic and safety hazards for our community. The history of this property is also important to consider. Since the 60s, it has been known as a greenhouse property, serving as agriculture hub where community members could access plants and vegetables. It was a seasonal business. It was only open around 5 months out of the year, and the traffic was never a concern because it actually went off on Ballcamp Pike, but it has been closed. You would rarely see more than 5 cars at a time. The long-standing agricultural use has contributed to the unique rural character of Karnes, a character that is becoming harder to find in Knox County. Since the decline of growing plants, the greenhouse was shut down and has future plans for placing a house on the property. Mr. Ford has mentioned his interest in placing a coffee shop at this location. While a coffee shop may be an asset in some locations, this particular site is not suited for the frequent in and out traffic such as the business would generate. Without proper access and turning lanes, the risk of traffic congestion and accidents increase significantly. It's also important to note that in the original planning guidelines, the property was never designated for commercial use. The areas that were planned for commercial development have not yet reached their capacity and should be utilized before altering the zoning map. Furthermore, there is already an easy stop being built located than 3/10 of a mile away, making addition to another commercial site redundant and contrary to the Planning Commission's intent to prevent clustering and similar businesses. Karnes has long been known for its agricultural roots, open spaces, and community-focused environment. Allowing a commercial rezoning here would erode that character and set an example for more changes that chip away for what makes this part of Knox County a gem. I urge you to honor both the county's own rezoning guidelines and original planning intent. Please vote no to deny request of 5240 Shad Road to neighborhood commercial, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Monroe. Mr. Mullins, do you want to add anything before we open it up?
Briefly, a couple of comments. I actually represent the Easy Stop, and I think he'd be pleased to know that once the Easy Stop goes in there, all the commercial activity should stop, and that's the only commercial activity that should go into a corridor. He would like the fact that he would have the corner almost literally in that market. But a gas station isn't the end-all be-all to commercial development. In Shad Road, there's been a $75 million investment in this area, and we all know that this area is going to change into a more intense development, either more highly intense residential development, or there will be more commercial development along this corridor, which is why the SMR place type that we adopted in Advanced Knox calls for commercial as a secondary use. A neighborhood commercial is your quintessential secondary commercial use because it's designed to be to service the residences in that neighborhood. And when you look at the context of the neighborhood, you cannot ignore the fact that Shad Road and the traffic that Shad Road is intended to siphon off of our other arteries and corridors are going to be passing through this area, and they're going to look for places for there to be coffee shops, for there to be other convenient commercial developments. And that's what Mr. Ford is asking for here. He just happens to have the fortune or the misfortune, as it may be, being the first person since the Shod Road corridor has opened up and since the Advanced Knox has put in these place stops to make that request. And that's what, if you watch the Planning Commission, you know, that's what they struggled with. There was a very divided Planning Commission meeting. There was lots of conversation back and forth over, you know, this is the area you want to do things like this where there is infrastructure in place, where there is a need, where, you know, you're going to have the traffic so you're not drawing traffic away from other areas. It's just we're the first ones in the door. So the reason I filed the appeal is because more than a planning issue, this is a policy decision. Is what do we want, what do we want Shod Road to look like? Now, you know, residential isn't inappropriate here. The SMR place stop calls for residential, but for a 1.25 acre parcel, this parcel by itself isn't really well suited for a residential development. If it were part of an assemblage of properties and all those properties were part of it, then you could look at doing some type of subdivision, some type of larger residential development. But a single parcel by itself would be more suited for the type of neighborhood commercial that's being proposed here. So I think this is appropriate in this area. I think you're going to see more commercial development in the future. We are the first ones to ask, and I don't think we should be penalized for that, because I think when we look at this corridor, you're going to see that it's going to change over time, and change is hard. I met with Ms. Smith, Ms. Story, Ms. Monroe, I met with the family. You know, I know they weren't happy about Shod Road coming through there. I don't blame them. I wouldn't have been either, but it's there, and it's going to change, and that's inevitable. But my client is actually looking to do something respectful. The neighborhood commercial does have protections in place, so it would be compatible with the residential, the neighbors surrounding it. And so those protections are there. And the question about it being generally located at the intersection, that's what the ordinance says. Generally, it's not a requirement. It shall be located. And I've just looking at the map, pointed out at least 8 neighborhood commercial zones that aren't at intersections, that are on similar commercial corridors that are back up to residential neighborhoods. So this would be appropriate at this location. I would ask that you approve the appeal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullins. Open up the floor. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a number of questions. Mr. Ford, I have a question for you. Are there members, or the family that sold you the property, are they currently, some of them sitting here?
No, they're not.
Okay. What is the, maybe you or Mr. Mullins could answer this, what's the going rate for an acre of residential property in that area?
I'm not sure what the going rate for the residential property in there. You pay what, 300?
He's paid $325.
$325.
Yeah.
It appraised. I did, but it appraised for more than that.
Is it because of the warehouse on there? Is that?
It is a metal building. It's an empty. It is currently an empty metal building that they built and redid transmissions out of. There was trash everywhere. It does have 3-phase power to it, so it was used commercially.
Right. When you negotiate, I mean, if you can tell me, when you negotiated this deal, was it negotiated with the understanding that there would be a continued commercial use, or was it?
No, I mean, I knew that I was going to have to rezone. When I first reached out to planning staff, they made it seem like it'd be very easy to rezone. So I would say maybe this is my first time doing it, so that could very well be my issue. I had fully intended, yes, to use it as it's got a metal building on it now. Continuing in that aspect, I was not anticipating as much opposition as I got. It's been a challenge. You know, like Dave said, my driveway access was cut off. My driveway access was the neighbors, so I do have to now build a new driveway. Those are all things that I can do. I'm not worried about that. I have my permit now to do that. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I think it's the best fit for this space.
Do you all know, either one of you know, approximately what a residential acre would cost?
Well, it appraised for $450 or so, I think is about what it appraised for with the metal building on it. I don't know what it would appraise for empty.
Okay. So as it stands right now, there are a number of uses that, I'm looking at.
Agricultural doesn't allow for many.
Well, I'm looking
storage
at
unit,
agriculture right now, and you could have a yard sale and rummage, and I'm trying to just lay out all these things. Yard sale and rummage sale, you could have, boat liveries, I guess just, maybe that's a marina. You can store boats there, though. You could have a dog kennel. You could have a storage facility there. These are permitted uses.
Right. No, I mean, I approached a storage facility. I don't know that anyone here wants a storage facility on Shawd Road. I mean, I could do it.
Right. I'm saying
or
this,
pigs and chickens.
I'm saying this more for the benefit of the people sitting there, that they think that if they stop this, then that means there's going to be no activity on this particular tract of land. But there are lots of things with a metal building there that could take place.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I mean, quite frankly, if we make the decision, if you all make the decision to go ahead and start this process and, set a standard, all of their home values will go up as well. So indirectly, I mean, the greenhouse next to me could easily go neighborhood commercial very easily. So that property could double in value, right? So there'll definitely be indirect benefits. But there is no way, and that's kind of what I was saying, there's no way to put, if all the properties were together and it was all 10 acres, then you could look at townhomes. But that's not the case. That's not what it is. And Shawd Road, just to their point, it doesn't make sense to put a single family home on it. So, right, by denying this, you're saying, let's put a single family home facing Shawd Road.
Well, I have some questions for Mr. Mullins.
Yep.
So, Mr. Mullins, and I don't know the ins and outs of these, and I'd say you probably do, but you could put, with a big metal empty building, there could be a commercial mulching operation as a use on a review. Is that true under agricultural?
There are use standards for commercial mulching that I don't know if this property would necessarily meet. The zoning would allow it, but there's also use standards. I don't know if there's a minimum acreage for that off the top of my head or not.
Composting facility.
But yeah, you could do agricultural, and you could do dog kennel. You could do indoor self-storage, although it would have to be a single tenant. The way they've interpreted that is it has to either be the owner or lease it to a single individual or company for storage. Agriculture is actually a very surprisingly intensive potential use. So I think neighborhood commercial would actually have more protections, even though it would allow more retail type commercial than the ag zone would allow.
Yeah, I guess that's my point, is if you already have this metal building on there, there might be a lot of uses that may be way more offensive to the residents than having a coffee shop, and there's unintended consequences, I guess, is what I'm suggesting to the people who are sitting here, that if they force your client's hands, it might end up in something that they might regret, I guess, is my point.
And that's obviously something, Commissioner Fox, that we don't want. I mean, we think a neighborhood commercial zone would be more palatable to the community and also be better to the community at large and to the county at large than what it could be used for now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quick question for Mr. Snowden. What would be the access? It looks like that sliver to the side that has a driveway has been...
And the applicant may speak. Looking at it, his only legal access is to Shawd Road, and that would essentially mean a right-in, right-out, because he can't get to the median, and we would make sure that his driveway is shifted as far east as possible to ensure that people don't try to obviously sneak out the other way, so to speak. So
there's a church down the street that has the same kind of right-in, right-out. Same normal right-in, right-out access. Okay. I have a question. I'm not sure for Jane Smith or Heather or Wilma, whoever wants to kind of come represent. I'm sorry, your name again?
I'm Heather Story.
Heather. Okay, thank you, Heather. Who owned and ran R&R Fabrication and Hauling out of 5240?
So that was my uncle, Robert Mingy, who passed away about a year ago.
Okay. Did any of the family or anyone who's speaking here tonight file objection to his commercial operation being run out of that?
I'll be honest with you. We never saw him. He ran it out of there, but it wasn't a disruption. So
Was that a
It was an
legally
addition.
commercial, I mean, was it a commercial property on a legally commercial property piece? Or
I'm
was
not,
it?
my uncle has passed away and I can't speak for him. But, evidently he was, I can't, I'm not the
No, no,
judge of my uncle.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's done and passed away and I can't ask him that, but,
Well, let me
he-
ask
he-
Ms.
he
Brooks
did,
that. Was R&R Fabrication and Hauling or Ming's Greenhouse and Nursery commercial entities operating legally on commercial property?
Mingy's Green, sorry.
I don't have that information, Commissioner. I'd have to, in terms of whether or not it was operating legally.
Well, not like from a business perspective, I mean, but this is a commercial business.
I don't know if they were legally permitted.
Okay.
I can't speak to the R&R
Okay.
facility.
So either, but did you or any of the family object to having,
Well, we obviously did not like it. It was trash. And like, it was.
okay. While you're asking about that, is this in the comprehensive, the new Knox, advanced Knox plan for?
It is SMR,
Okay,
place type.
okay, so neighborhood commercial fits in the plan.
It's considered a secondary use. It is, the commercial uses for SMR, suburban mixed use, it is partially related. CN, neighborhood commercial, is partially related to the place type.
Okay. Okay.
And I do know that it was originally zoned, like it perked because we don't have the sewage issue, but it was 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom is what it perked for that property that's beside.
Okay. I guess I'm having, I understand your position and I understand all that you have given to us. I'm really also having a really hard time with a property that was used for I don't know how many decades as a commercial property right next to another property that was also a commercial property use. Even though you're selling stuff to farmers and greenhouse, it's still a commercial business in which you're running a commercial nursery and you're running, and so these are two essentially commercial. They may have not been zoned that way, they may not have been permitted that way, but you've been operating businesses or extended family for so long, and I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out why somebody else can't have the same rights that you all have had.
The greenhouse was originally built back in the 50s, 60s, whenever my grandfather started it and just kind of continued that tradition, but it was meant for food. Okay, and that's, and those sorts of things. We continue the tradition and then until it just was not a thing
And I
anymore.
understand that, and I understand, things change, but it was used for a commercial business. And
Yes,
so was the
understood.
property that this gentleman owns. And I'm really struggling with why he doesn't have the same rights that you all do. And
Well, one of the biggest concerns is that I wanted to address is that the Planning Commission has designated commercial areas that they wanted to fill before we start getting into some of these other areas. And so that is our biggest, point. With those other areas are not filled yet. So I feel like we're rushing Shad Road when we're not ready to rush it. And I understand what your concern is, but there was no traffic issues. No, because the greenhouse that was originally before it closed was actually off of Ballcamp Pike, not off of Shad Road. The other business, the one that was illegal, whatever. Okay, so it was not like there was no foot traffic. Do you see what I'm saying? It was never. It was not somebody come in there and shopping. Does that make sense?
Oh, I understand. Yeah. And every property had somebody when they started their business or they rezoned it that somebody else didn't like what they did, and on and on. I mean, it's a continuous thing. I promise you, there was somebody that when the greenhouse went up, they came and said, I don't want a greenhouse next to my. Or when the farm was developed across the street.
I'm not quite sure because that's, my grandfather owned a lot of acres right there, so.
Yeah. And there's a huge commercial entity across Ballcamp Pike. I'm positive that,
But it's next to the railroad, so that's different, yeah.
I'm just.
We have no, if you're so close to the railroad track, you can't really, there's no use of fighting it because they're going to do what they're going to do there.
I guess what I'm just sort of summarizing is that it has constantly evolved and changed, and everybody has constantly evolved and changed with it. And Shad Road is a massive corridor that we built specifically for heavy loads of traffic and to direct high density and more density along major corridors. And it is in the comprehensive plan growth area, and it's been used as the same right. And so I just, with all due respect to everyone who's here, I really have a hard time not approving the exact same thing going forward. So I'll leave it at that and let the other commissioners.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The conversation that's happened so far, it reminds me of a application violation, whatever you want to call it. There was a conflict because we had a commercial property that was in violation, and it wasn't zoned for it, and they were running a mechanic shop out of it, and so they applied for rezoning. About a half mile down the road, there was another commercial mechanic shop that had the zoning, but it had been commercial since, call it the 60s or 70s, whenever. But this one was out of place. It didn't fit. It was not on the map. It was not in the plan. It was deemed out of place, although just half a mile down the road, there was a mechanic shop that was perfectly fine, and the argument was raised, why can't they do it if they can do it? This one was unanimously denied, said it was out of place, it didn't fit, and they ultimately had to close shop and move because Planning Commission, planning staff, and this body said it was out of place, it didn't fit. The other one was grandfathered in because it'd been there for 40, 50 years, but this one was out of place and it didn't suit it. So this one, the greenhouses, I mean, that's agricultural. Yes, it's commercial because they conduct business, but it's an agricultural business. She said it was started back in the 50s. It wasn't probably growing flowers, it was growing vegetables and produce and things like that. But they've changed. She said the greenhouses aren't even in operation now. They're probably going to build a house on it. So that argument to me is moot. The backside of the property is industrial that goes in. I'm not sure what this PHDS company, whatever, that corridor back there is industrial. This is ag. That whole section, I've not driven by there, but I did do the street view. So while we're sitting here, I drove through. And it's all wide open spaces until you get to the subdivisions. Yes, you have Amherst Elementary School, but you don't really have any commercial until you get to the intersection. I agree with staff. If it were close to that intersection, maybe it would be in place. And Mr. Mullins, back in 2020, had the application for a neighborhood commercial closer to that intersection. The first time for planned commercial, it was denied. Now, neighborhood commercial, it was approved, but it was close to the intersection on the other side of Amherst Elementary School. I agree. This one's a little bit further away. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to quickly point out again, Commissioner Jay, you said earlier we need to follow the plans. By following the plans, you should consider that this is partially related and have the additional review criteria. Does it meet? And again, I can't find justification that it does. You also mentioned about placing conditions. Conditions make things enforceable for our staff, and it makes it easier for them. And that is why we place conditions, and that too follows the plans. So to kind of piggyback on what Commissioner Thompson said, he brought up some of the points I was going to make, that this is ag, horticultural farming, greenhouses. It is within a use. And we really can't argue if they had a license or a permit to conduct any sort of business. That as you have said many times, we have to look at the parcel, the zoning, the uses, the allowed uses. We can't use that as an argument, in my opinion. So I too find this very hard to support. I understand what you're trying to do, and I appreciate it. And again, Shad Road is something that we do want to see more of, but this one, to me, it just doesn't align in character or form. So I'm just having a real hard time with it.
I understand. May I respond to one thing that you said? I just wanted, because talking about the additional criteria, the review criteria for something that's partially related. The first criteria is the proposed zoning district is consistent with the secondary uses of the subject place type, and the SMR place type, the secondary use is commercial. So it does meet that criteria. So it does meet that additional criteria that we're talking about. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out, because those partially related ones can be a little tricky sometimes. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
Thank you, Chair Oster. I wanted to say that agricultural sales in a greenhouse, that is not a commercial use. And if you look at my home 5 years ago when I was operating as consultant, I had a business licensed out of my home. I wasn't running a commercial business out of my home. It's just that was the location that I was at. I was preparing different, tax returns and appraisals and things like that remotely for people. It did not generate any additional traffic or anything like that. So if he was operating a hauling business, he may have had a semi-truck that he had parked off somewhere. Nobody ever saw it. It wasn't creating any additional traffic within the neighborhood. It's not like people were coming there to look at his truck or anything. And if it were grandfathered in from a long time ago, then it was a legal use until it stopped. So I think just saying, well, I mean, that would be like if someone wanted to open a coffee shop in my house and said, well, there used to be a business there. It's a totally different animal. So I'm going to have to vote against this.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Snowden, does this tract of land show a history of any codes complaints at all?
Let me look real quick. I'm not aware of any like zoning complaints, but I can check and let you know.
Okay, well, and I just want to, the only thing I'd like to respond to my colleague Commissioner Russell is, in this situation, there's a big metal warehouse. So it's a little different than like having a home. If you look, if you do what Commissioner Thompson did, which was use the Google drive-by, it's probably a 25 to 30 foot metal structure, high, 25 to 30 feet high. I don't know, 50 to 60 feet across, and longer lengthwise than it is across. So it's a big metal structure there. So I just see it differently than like, running an accountant service out of your house. I mean, this was there. It was, you couldn't miss it.
When was it built?
I'm sorry?
When was it built? Maybe it was built before Knox County even had zoning, which means it was grandfathered in.
Right. It doesn't look that old, but that might be something that Director Brooks or Director Snowden could. When was the building permit on this particular metal structure?
Yeah, I don't have building permits in front. We have never had a zoning complaint about an illegal business at this location. However, it looks like it shows up between the 2010 and 2013 aerial, so it was built circa 2011, 2012.
And the building's probably what, 100 feet by 50, or 120 feet by 50 or something like that. Is that about right? Yes, I'd love to hear what you have to say, ma'am.
You talk about the agriculture. My father started that when I was a little girl. There was no Home Depot, there was no Lowe's, no Walmart to buy anything, plants for people to plant a garden and raise their food. My father started that, and you can ask my sister, that he probably gave away more than he ever sold. And the building, I might need Heather because I can't hear very good. The building that my brother built, which is beside our home place, and which May and my husband now own, that was built as a one-bedroom, one-bath place to live. My brother built it. I'm not sure why he built it like that, but he did build it like that. And I have a driveway that's right beside of it that goes to the home across of it. Well, you talking about grandfathered in, he tried to tell us, Mr. Ford came down there, and he tried to tell us that our driveway was grandfathered in because my brother used it. Is it grandfathered in because my brother used it some? I don't think so. But anyway, that's what I have to say about the greenhouse. My father was the greatest man that I've ever known on earth. And he would give more away than he ever took money for. And the people in the community wanted that greenhouse. And that's why my sister kept it running.
See, my focus, ma'am, just so you know, is it's on this big metal building that operated, like Commissioner Jay. It seems strange to me that this big metal building that no one could miss, that operated a commercial business, and I'm not really focusing on the agriculture, but I'm talking about that, and no one cared about it when it belonged to one of my family people. But then when somebody else wants to have a commercial operation on that land, it's like, oh wait, it's very tribal, and it doesn't seem right that it's okay when when some of our people are there, but when somebody else has it, then they pay a lot of money for that property, and then all of a sudden people object to it. It seems hypocritical to me, I guess is what I would say.
We can't help what he paid for property.
Right.
And that's neither here nor there for us, at all.
I would like to say that we were not in agreement with his choices. So even though but there was never ever noise complaints. I live right beside him. Like there was never ever any traffic, any of that. So even though we didn't agree with it, this is where we're at now.
And my brother did used to have parties down there. He liked to have parties. He liked to have friends.
Well,
Commissioner Fox, do you have any, so we can wrap this up?
yes, I'm sorry, ma'am. Did your brother, was he the person who sold to Mr. Ford? Or his estate sold to Mr. Ford?
Do what now?
Your brother's estate sold the tract of land to Mr. Ford?
Didn't he sell
No, it was his son that sold it. He passed away. He inherited it.
We would never have sold it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Jay?
Thank you. Just one last comment. I know you want to get to the vote and wrap it up. I'll just go back to Commissioner Frazier's comments and wrap it in. And you all have to know this has nothing to do with the memory of your father or your family or agriculture. It really is, we're just trying to look at land use and appropriate use. I would instruct everybody to go online and just look at the Google map. 1, 2, 3 parcels down across from the Amherst Elementary School is Bethel Church with about 300 parking spots with a right hand in and a right hand out. They probably even have a coffee shop inside, and they probably have people coming every day, every night, at least 4 or 5 times, 6 times. And I don't think anybody's objecting to Bethel Church being right down the street, because they're probably good neighbors and they have people that come in and out and worship and do what they are. take away that it's a church, this is exactly the same thing that somebody's trying to do on a quarter of the acreage on the same road, not near an intersection, with a right-hand right-out, with less parking and less square footage. This is why I don't understand why it's not appropriate.
Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, comparing neighborhood commercial to a church is a little bit of a stretch because the church only operates on Sundays, maybe Wednesday afternoons. I mean, when you're talking about the massive traffic and the parking and all that, it's on Sundays, and it maybe Wednesday night. But neighborhood commercial, I think where they're coming from is you had a family member who maybe did some things you didn't necessarily agree with, didn't really like, but it was their property and their building and whatever, and you kind of overlook it. But there was no traffic, there was no congestion, there was no around the clock stuff going on. If you had an issue, you'd talk to your uncle or your brother about it. But yeah, so yeah, kind of apples and oranges.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to actually turn it over to the district commissioner so we can hear what she has to say. But first, let me just say really quick, Mr. Ford, thank you for coming down here and for appealing, and I understand that. And of course, I appreciate Mr. Mullins also sharing. And, but I also understand where this family is coming from. And we have to, we do have plans, but there are times that once we look at the plan from the paper, sometimes it doesn't fit into that plan, and we figure that out. And as we have said numerous times, this plan is a living, breathing document that there are places that we may have to tweak. So we also have to take into account what was there. We can't do anything about what their dad or their uncle or anybody else did. That was years ago, and living in Carnes, I can promise you, that was right. He probably gave away more than he sold. So I just appreciate you guys coming down because I know it's an emotional situation. It's also probably an emotional situation for Mr. Ford. And sometimes this is what you get, a good, healthy debate with commission, and that's a good thing to have. So I'm going to turn that over to Commissioner Hill now.
Thank you. One thing I would encourage everyone to remember is that this 4-lane Chod Road is brand new. It hasn't been there very long at all. And for sure with the greenhouses, and I think with the, initially all that access was off of Ball Camp to start with. It was, Chod Road was, it might have been a dream, it might have been a concept, but it wasn't a 4-lane highway. So there is just that to consider. I am correct, Mr. Ford, am I not, that when you bought this property, you knew that it was zoned agriculture?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, when I bought it, I knew that it was zoned agricultural.
All right, just so there was no misunderstanding there.
No, I knew it was zoned agricultural and in the SMR for development, right? You click on the map and you can see it's SMR and it's neighborhood.
For future use.
Yeah, you're correct, right? Okay. Neighborhood commercial, not big box stores.
Right.
So, and I don't know. There's hundreds and hundreds of cars that go on Chod Road. Any commercial that's there isn't going to change that. And to hold it to residential puts me in the exact same spot as everyone else.
Thank you.
Yep.
Chod Road has been a real blessing and nightmare, as you all can imagine, because it did cut right through a very agriculture part of the Carnes community. But it's done, and there's been a lot of growing pains. One of the accommodations that have been made are up the street where Johnson Road is, that the light and clearly commercial zoned up there. And at some point in time, Ms. Smith, it's probably going to happen there. But one of the things I did appreciate that not only planning staff, but planning commission did debate, and it was a healthy debate, was yes, but maybe not now, not yet, because there is yet to be even built, already planned commercial development that is going to take several years to be under roof and to fill. And so I'm just not convinced that the time is right. And I do feel for this family, and I'm very sorry for you, Mr. Ford, if you bought it under any misconception at all. I genuinely am, but I do agree with not only planning and staff and planning commission that at this point in time this should be denied. So my motion is to deny this appeal.
All right, I've got a motion on the floor to deny by Commissioner Hill and a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
No.
We have Commissioner Fox as a no, and who else? Commissioner Jay is a no. And that's it. The motion passes. All right. We don't have any amendments to the zoning ordinance. Public forum, we have no one. Other business, anybody have anything that you need to announce? All right, well, if I have a motion to adjourn, and I got a second by Commissioner Durrett and a motion by Commissioner Frazier, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Have a good evening.